YouTube, how you doing, friends? My name is Frizmain, and today we're going to talk about assault rifles in the new Modern Warfare. I'm going to go down the list and discuss what I think about each individual gun, how it feels and acts, as well as reacts. I do want to go over how some of these guns can stretch very far in the gunsmith as well. But first of all, I just have to say, wow, this was a very strong impression that we got from the beta, especially when it comes to ARs. The devs absolutely spoiled us. I was absolutely in the candy shop with this selection. We got 5 different rifles, and almost all of them were unique and powerful in some kind of way. So to go down that list, we got the M4A1, the AK-47, the M13, the FR556, and the Odin. So starting from the top going down, we got the traditional M4A1. This thing is the bread and butter of assault rifle players, regardless of what level of play you are. I'm sure somebody's picked up the M4, you've picked up the M4, and been really comfortable with this gun. This is hands down my favorite assault rifle in the beta so far. Well, rather, was my favorite assault rifle in the beta. Sad days, 5 more weeks. But it's definitely my favorite assault rifle that we had the opportunity to try out. This gun is super versatile and can be built out for like stability to handle longer range encounters, or kitted for the sort of closer range combat. And I think honestly that it rivals even some of the machine guns that are available in the game, especially something as sort of favored as like the MP5. You can definitely outshoot an MP5 if you get all your shots on target. If you haven't seen my channel welcome video yet, I went on an absolute tear with this thing and managed to get a Juggernaut suit in the process. So if you want to see some of that sort of close range potential that the M4A1 has, I'll leave a link in the description below. I don't have a favorite playstyle for this gun yet, but I think with the right stability modifications, it can be a faster time to kill than the M13. I think as long as you shoot your shots and hit on target with most of those shots, or if not, rather all of those shots, the M4 will definitely kill faster than the M13. I think it does more damage per bullet than the M13 does, and especially at the longer ranges, you don't get as much fall off that the M13 has. But before we get too deep into the M4 versus the M13 thing, I want to bring up the AK-47. This thing is the old faithful, the old reliable of the CoD series. It's super powerful in this game, but when I say that, it does have its pros and cons. You definitely feel how powerful this gun is in the gun's recoil. So when you compare it to something like the M4A1 or especially like the M13, the AK-47 is going to feel a bit unruly without really in-depth recoil management. I think the AK has always had its place in the Call of Duty series, and I think it's a viable option for people who like heavier gun designs. Maybe some of the Battlefield players will like the AK in this game. I will say that playing with the AK is maybe a little bit more difficult, but also very rewarding when things go right. Nothing feels quite as nice as tearing through half a team from behind with this type of gun. And that's when I definitely had the most fun using it. Moving forward, we have probably the fan favorite of the beta so far, and that was the M13. I like to call it the laser beam. This gun was quickly adopted as one of the best and most consistent ARs available to us in the beta, and won the hearts of the players. The M13 is an assault rifle with high rate of fire and low recoil that makes it super manageable for newer players and absolutely catastrophic in the hands of a professional. This gun shreds through players so easily that it can go neck and neck with the MP7 in close quarters and give you about a 50-50 chance of winning. It can handle those mid-range engagements pretty well and can benefit from a really good sight picture with the right optic. A muzzle brake or vertical grip is recommended for range targets to fight any of the recoil that might accrue over time, because you do have a little bit more of that fall-off damage than the M4A1 will. So you do have to be prepared to put a couple more bullets in at the longer ranges. Going past the M13 into the last day or two of the beta, we've got the FR556. This was given to us at level 21, I believe, so we didn't really get a lot of time with it. This gun is more commonly called the FAMAS, especially in some of the older games. You'll see its very familiar body. This thing is eerily similar to how the M16 handles in CoD 4. If you're a returning player and the M16 with the red dot was your thing, this gun is definitely going to be the choice for you. For those of you who aren't familiar, this gun shoots in 3-round bursts and has the ability to kill in a single well-placed burst. That means that if you're really feeling your aim that day, you could theoretically get 10 kills in a standard magazine. That's a boatload of firepower to have at a level 1 weapon level. The only reason this isn't a main focus on my list is the fact that if you miss your first burst, or even like 1 or 2 of the bullets in that burst, you're almost guaranteed to get turned on and killed by any other gun in the game. The final option on the list is the Odin, literally the god gun, the pub stomper, the 2-time. This gun is so strong at literally every single range of play that it can outshoot most casual sniper players with a 2 to 3 shot kill across, say, Hackney Yard. This thing can also dual ARs and subs at close to mid-range. Of course, the slower ADS and wide recoil spread makes the tighter quarters a bit harder, but this thing is still a beast. I'm sure you can optimize the close quarters capabilities, and it still punches harder than the AK at mid-range, so definitely a good in-between. I also hear that there's a variation of this gun that can actually one-shot kill, so take that information as you will. Going outside of assault rifles, this gun is much more manageable than the MK14, and can pretty much be used to spam single-fire mode with low recoil. The way things are going with this gun, I don't see this gun being too viable or even allowed in top-level play, so that's why it takes the cake as an A-list stomping tool. Getting into some of the comparison and the nitty-gritty, the first one to really look at is the difference between that M4 and the M13. Like I said before, and I just want to reiterate, the M4 I think has better damage per bullet, which makes it more viable at the closer to mid-range, while the M13 has the higher fire rate. If you have good recoil control, especially with the right attachments and fast ADS, and you know how to handle things like aim punch while you're being shot at, the M4A1 can definitely take the cake in any of the close range situations up against an M13. And the fact that this gun still stays very strong at the mid to long range means that it kind of outclasses the M13. I know there was a lot of love for the M13 in the beta, especially with just how manageable the recoil was and how much it seemed like a laser beam. I think that's more of people liking easier guns as opposed to really going neck and neck and seeing which one outpowers another without getting too ridiculous. Unfortunately, when it comes to the AK, I didn't really feel like it stood out too terribly much, especially when we were given such strong guns like the FR556 and the Odin in its place. I feel like the FR556 is very hard to get used to. Found myself very often feeling like I needed that 4th or 5th bullet to land and got turned on or caught out, even with my sight on the enemy, just because I'm so used to the full auto. But it is so strong that you can absolutely tear things up if you're good with your first couple of shots. I definitely see people mastering this in public matches and, you know, hopping around corners or drop shotting or whatever the case is, and not really needing to think twice about killing somebody. That last option, the Odin, I think it's super powerful, almost to the point where, as we're going through this list, I wonder if they should nerf a couple or tweak a couple of these kill times, or, you know, change up some of the additions in Gunsmith. But as you can see underneath the commentary that we have here, a lot of this clip is just the Odin kind of tearing through people, even with a little bit of potato aim. As long as you kind of get the jump on people, you're bound to get a 2 or 3 shot kill. There's a couple of moments in this where you can see me snipe somebody across the map on Hackney Yard, or even take some people out running subs close quarters. With all that said, I'd like to remind you that this is a new channel, so subscribe to help lift things off the ground and ring the bell to stay with me. Like if you liked it, but also comment down below and let me know what your favorite assault rifle was during the beta. I think the next video that I'm going to do is probably talking about the versatility in Gunsmith. I know I still want to address some microtransactions and some of the news that we got today or whatever it was the past day on things like exclusivity. I think that'll be a pretty hot topic. So thanks for sticking around. Until next time, YouTube.